Break80 fans, we have a special interview tonight from a man who's traveled the country to find the best tips and advice from pros and golf knowers and everything around. Mr. Cordie Walker, Cordie Golfwell of Instagram and YouTube fame. Cordie, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's always good to be with fellow Minnesotans because there aren't that many of us in the golf, making golf stuff in Minnesota. It's a small group.
Yeah, not a lot of people out there feeling our pain today on April 30th when it's about 40 degrees outside at the wind chill.
Holy cow, it was cold. It was very cold.
Well, we got you on here because we'll get to the speed part here, but I guess really you've kind of blown up here to a point on Instagram and YouTube where you're even got books published, all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, man, I love chasing down interesting stories and golf instruction and performance and like coaching and like trying to figure stuff out. Like there are so many interesting coaches. There's so much going on that like most of us golfers don't know about. So I'm just trying to go like, what are the most interesting stories I can go find, learn from people, and like share with everyone. And luckily there's a bunch of awesome coaches and people out there who are like totally willing to share. So it's fantastic.
What's your golf background, just out of curiosity? Like something like you just like pick it up later in life? Did you played it your whole life? I'm just kind of trying to get a baseline here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I played growing up constantly. I mean, probably by, 7th, 8th grade, golf was my sport. So played in high school, played all the Minnesota Junior PGA stuff, and was kind of buzzing around as a youngster here in Minnesota playing golf. So yeah, did that, and then did a weird thing for college. So I didn't have a chance to play or do anything there. I just went for like 4 semesters after college and got my degree done like right away. So I did that. So maybe I still have eligibility actually, which could be another whole series, right? Maybe that's the next challenge. But and so yeah, so just always played competitive golf. Then kind of stopped for a while, picked it back up, stopped again, picked it back up, and just kind of done that kind of thing as you have kids and you do work and all that stuff personally. But I love playing. Now I have realized like I'm a big fan of if you don't sign up for something, you probably won't play or train. So now I'm on the camp of like go throw some tournaments on the calendar so you can actually like schedule some training. Like I have to go. If I would like to have a chance of playing golf, I should go practice maybe a couple times. Like that's, so I'm a big proponent of that now.
Did the whole going out and searching for instruction and things start out of a certain area of your game where you were trying to fix a while back, or is it just a pure curiosity kind of thing? Like you're trying to find special insights into various parts of the game, or both maybe?
Great question. I do really truly have a mission of like, I think that like, I wish every golfer had access to like world-class golf instruction. And so part of it is kind of like just sharing that with people. But I'll give you like the real story is after college, I had a software startup and like I wanted to do something. And so I started working with golf instructors. We did scheduling and student management. I did that for like 18 months, 20 months, ran out of money, had to stop doing it. But by that point, I'd like met a bunch of awesome golf instructors. I started a podcast. This was like 2014 or something. And so like, that's how I got into golf instruction. I started just like knowing golf instructors and they're great to hang out with and just kind of went from there, and then started something called Golf Science Lab because I met a bunch of awesome researchers and I was like, whoa, people do like research on golf. That's weird. So then I sat down to kind of like document that. So I did like seasons of podcasts on like how to learn, how to like the body biomechanics, tech, like all this stuff. Went to World Scientific Congress of Golf, and then that was awesome. Stopped that probably about 2021 ish, and then we launched back up like 3 years ago, and didn't resonate with the brand, so changed to Golfwell from Golf Science Lab just because I wanted something that I resonated with at this point in life. And we've been going with that. So that's like there's the nitty gritty of like how we arrive today.
So how did that develop with like actually sharing stuff with people? So you're clearly passionate. You've been a golfer your whole time, your whole life pretty much. When did the drive to actually share this, put it on public forums in any way possible? Where did that start clicking? And has that been always something that you've enjoyed doing? Because I think you've talked about having, video background.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always loved making stuff. So like I love just creating stuff and like making things. So that's why we have videos and podcasts, and now we made this book, and I like trying to be creative and make stuff. So I'm really proud of the Golf Science Lab. We did these seasons of podcasts where I would interview these experts and try to explain what they said and like make it they like try to put it together into a story, like a concept to learn. And so like I was really fired up by that, and like people really liked them. We had a bunch of great engagement with those series. And so like that was the first thing of like, oh man, this is super niche, but like this is really fun to make, really interesting people I get to talk to and meet, and then like people kind of like it too. So it was good.
Well, your content is, like you talked about, kind of all over the board. It's got reviews, swim mechanics, course management stuff, practice advice. What's your favorite content to make, and what kind of content gives you the most engagement?
Boy, what's the favorite to make? That is a good question. Man, the favorite to make, honestly, I only make stuff that I'm like interested in. So like it has to be a story that like I want to learn what this person has to say. Like I think what just published the last couple of weeks is I spent a day with Fast Eddie Fernandez, long drive guy who won some tournaments, but now he just does coaching. And I was like, I really want to learn, like really want to just like kind of learn from him and like hear what he has to say, because I've been seeing him on social, and like I just got to go ask him this stuff. So like I just get fired up about stuff. Like there's things that we have in the can right now of just like interesting ideas. Like there's another buddy of mine, Jackson Court, great instructor down in Jacksonville. Like he's always using resistance bands, and you see it on Instagram and his stuff. And I was like, we got to go like tell the story of like how you're using these, why are you using these, like how can people use them. And so like, yeah, it's chasing down these interesting ideas that just, it fires me up. Like I get excited about trying to then take that idea, go do that, learn it all, and then we try to edit it and make it something that y'all will enjoy watching. That's the idea.
How long ago so you've really kind of dove deep into speed training lately? Is that out of its popularity, just that's kind of become a thing now, or is that more for you? It started as you wanted to get more speed, and now it's kind of grown into this big thing now.
It was just a personal thing. I mean, as you guys know, like we don't play golf much.
Yeah,
here in Minnesota. We got lots of time inside. And so I have never worked out my whole life. I don't know what a gym is. Like I'm not super healthy. So that's a goal as well. And so I was like, what can I do which would be really fun to like do things which would be good for me? And speed training is that. It's like it's a great goal. It gives you something you can control. Like I know if I went and I trained or not. And I know if I was like dumb and did something dumb. And like it's not like golf where you can go do everything right but still shoot 92 and be pissed off, because that just happens with every single golfer. Like speed training, you can kind of control more things. So that was one thing, and I was just like, I was curious, like what can I do? Like this is a fun challenge. Like I feel like I should be able to get faster. So that was kind of how it started.
What did you start at for a ball speed, like a baseline, and where are you at now? Good
question. I've got a handy note. I did this earlier this year. So I started in 2024. I actually started higher than I thought, but I started at 178, which I don't remember.
Pretty good.
That high, but I guess it was. And then that year in 2024, I went from 178 to 182. And then in 2025, I went from 182 to 188. So little gains. And you might be like, why would you do all this to like gain that much? But it's really hard to hit a new top end speed, but it is easier to like raise your floor.
Yeah.
So like my floor has come up massively. Like that is the weird part. Like I used to, like hitting 180 at first was like crazy. Like I might do it once or twice in a session and then like not for like 2 or 3 more times. But now it's like, I can be at 180 and like five balls kind of thing. So it's like that floor has really come up. And I suck, to be honest with you. Like I just looked, I've tracked 35 sessions over 2 years. So like, and I've definitely not gone to the gym that much and done what I should be doing. So like, I'm not good. I'm not a model of like perfection when it comes to like, look at me. I'm training so great.
You did a video on this. What are some of the keys in gaining ball speed for our listeners? Like what is like, if you had to name a couple that are the most important, because I am not one. Mike's a lot faster than me. I'm not a huge speed training guy. I'm actually in the point where my life was like, I just want to play golf from the fairway.
Yeah.
I'm 6'5", so I got the longer levers. That helps.
Oh, that's not fair. Oh, lame. Yeah, that is. First thing is be tall and super strong. Yeah. So try that. That would be a great first step. Which I'm 6 feet tall, which is great, but I wish I was 6'5". That would be awesome. No, great question. Like, I guess it kind of starts with intent. Like, have you ever actually tried and trained to swing really hard? Like the basis of what I've done is I've just hit a lot of golf balls. So like for me, a speed training session, like I've done these is like means I've hit like 50 to 70 balls at least. And like I've done some kind of warm up before that, like 15 to 20 minutes, like really like intent based. And then it's just like all about that gaining speed. And I'll be honest, like most people have never had good intent about swinging faster, right? Like they just don't. You might give it a couple tries at the end of a range session or something, but there's something about like saying like, how fast can I swing? Like I'm going to do everything I possibly can. And some things start to change if you give it a little bit of time. So that's the first thing. I know it's really like, it might sound dumb, but like intent, like, have you ever had the intent to swing harder? It would be like number one. Does that resonate? Have you ever tried that? Or like, what's your...
Yeah. Well, so like for me, I feel, and I've told Mike this, he's like, just swing hard. It's like, I feel like I've lost control when I try to swing, like think swinging hard, which in my case, it's like when I try to swing hard, I get more tense instead of swinging fast, like, so my biggest takeaway is like, when I try to swing harder, I need to think fast, not hard.
Interesting.
Cause it's like, tension for me is going to probably mean that I'm going to turn one over, duck hook one when I get too tight with tension. I know, like, I've talked to my golfers about, when you pick up a hammer, right? You don't squeeze the hammer and try to hit the nail because you're not going to get that leg. So a little bit looser grip gets me faster, but then again, I tend to be a little bit more wild when I try to play faster.
So, I mean, great. So you've kind of opened up a great point here. So like when you're speed training, like put a number on the screen and I do not care where the ball goes. Like I don't, I could care less.
And I guess, and my take on like a driver is I'm kind of the opposite of Jeff. I think every time, like I cruise at like 180 probably roughly for ball speed. If I'm playing a scramble or something, we got one safe, I'll get a wide stance and really lash at a few, then they get out. I have no idea where they're going, but they go a lot farther. But I'm the opposite, where anytime I get on a hole and I try to guide it a little bit and steer it, it never works. Like never works out. The club face gets way more square for me just ripping at it and dealing with the consequences afterwards, essentially, if I hit a bad one. But every time I try to get into like guide it mode, it's brutal. Never works out well.
Yeah, because I mean, guided mode could be for you like lots of tension, right?
Yeah, and
like that could be the opposite.
Yeah,
and so there's a lot of people that it is like when you swing harder or faster, it's more athletic and it's less guidey, less tension, and you start to hit it better. But I guess maybe even backing up another level, like the goal of this is to raise your cruising speed, like what you just go and like hit at on the course. Like you have to raise your top end speed. So like I don't swing like that on the golf course, but like I've gotten my club speed up to 120 now, where I can kind of like chill at 120.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of the goal of all of it, right? So if I can raise this up to, you know, my club speed up when I'm going nuts, then my cruising is going to come up as well.
Yeah.
So that's really like what we're trying to.
Have you found that when you're playing a round of golf, have you been able to rein it in once you got faster, rein it in so you're a little more accurate, or are you just hitting it all over the place once you get out onto the golf course? Like your accuracy?
No, accuracy is fine. Like my swing is a bit different, honestly. Like it's way shorter. Like if you're asking how do you swing faster, like try to get a deeper turn and a longer backswing. Like that's the first, like I know how good or how fast the swing is going to be depending on how like big the backswing is. And I can feel it like, oh, that was a good one. We were loaded. Like that was fantastic. Or like, no, that was short. And that was like, that's not going anywhere. So like for me, if I'm speed training, like I'm getting really deep and like long backswing. But then like you watch a video of like me on the course playing and it's like so short. So like when I shorten it up, like I can, that is what I do on the course, but that speed has gone up and that I control decently. So
because like what you're trying to do is almost like, I think people of our age were always taught just to get it in the fairway, smooth it out there. And now they're teaching, you know, now it's the complete opposite for young players. It's hit it as hard as you can, and we'll figure out how to straighten it out later. I feel like the way you're doing it, and a lot of adults, it's almost like learning a language. You know, it's way easier to learn a language when you're a little kid than it is when you're an adult. And it's got to be almost the same with speed training. You got to retrain your whole body.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a skill. Like my pitches, it's a skill, just like leg putting. Like it's just a thing to work on and improve and learn. Just like any other part of the game.
Do you have a trigger to start your swing? Out of curiosity?
Good question. Like I've been playing around with a bunch lately, like the Kyle Berkshire feet thing. I'm sure you've seen it, right?
Yeah.
It definitely helps. Like that's really, really helpful. Like not if you just do it once or twice, but like if you actually like train that way and like get it pretty ingrained. That is a great way to get going, is get your feet going, just so you're not like statically standing there getting tense, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a tension release thing too, isn't it? Kind of.
Yeah. Well, it just helps you load, right? Because like I got to get the pressure going into the trail foot. So it's a great way to do it.
So once you started to do this, like people are doing it to obviously, in theory, hit it farther, get shorter clubs in your hands. Have you found that it has helped your scoring on the course? Because I have a kid on my team who we started as a 7th grader, was just super straight. He'd be hitting hybrids into greens. Good play. You know, he turned, but now he's older. He's got ball speed in the, middle 170s, and he's a little bit more wild. He's just not scoring like he kind of used to be, because he gained this, but it's not really transitioning into his score. You know, it looks cool, but at the end of the day is, you turn in a scorecard, it's just not quite as what he maybe was when he was not as long. So how has it helped you in terms of just scoring better?
Boy, great question. So last year, I think, I had one of my worst like tournament scoring seasons of kind of my life. So that's a good testimonial for it, is if you want to shoot higher scores. Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying.
I didn't get any reaction from that. I was like, I want to make sure I said that. Yeah, I had the worst scores my tournament career last year. No, who knows what that was? That could have been any number of things. So I think speed is good. And then I spent a bunch of time, like I love the course management stuff, like spent a bunch of time with Scott Fawcett. One of my good friends is Coach Will Robbins. So like I've learned a lot about that. So I understand how to take speed and use it responsibly. Like, and one of the concepts that Scott, like in a recent video, like a great quote, just pull out that he said is like, you want to be super aggressive off the tee and super conservative into greens. And like, that's generally like, if you were to summarize how to do course management. Like that's one of the thoughts.
Which is interesting because you think the farther you go, the more aggressive you can get on your second shot, right? Which is why I think people want to get more distance so they can get more aggressive into the pins.
Yeah, I mean, what most of us just aren't that good.
Yeah,
Get aggressive, right? Like, just you gotta hit the green. You can't, we're not trying to short side ourselves, and so like most of us just don't aim good enough. Like Scott would say, like just aim at the middle of every green is too generic, and if you're aiming it, you can't aim at every pin either. So like you have to figure out how to aim well into greens.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean that's the big challenge for most amateurs is they don't miss properly. Pros and better players miss it properly. They know where they can get away with a miss to be safer, and a lot of amateurs just don't.
Well, I would change that. I would say they don't aim properly.
Yeah, probably
wrong target. They just haven't chosen the right target, whether it's from the tee, right? Of like, hey, I have to take my aim point here because we all have a dispersion pattern, right? And we've got to like, okay, I'm going to put my 70-yard wide driver dispersion pattern. I need to center it. Oh, actually, like at the left edge of this fairway. And I'm going to hit some of these into the rough over here, and I'm going to hit some of them into the fairway here, but I'm not going to hit it into the lake over here. So like, this is where I'm going to go here. And, like that's, you got to figure out how to aim. And then into greens, the same thing, like understanding that dispersion pattern, like where am I going to put that so that I maximize my chances of hitting the green and not getting into trouble.
Speaking of dispersion, do you have I know I talk to my high school players a lot about this all the time too, is you have to have a one-way miss. You can't miss both directions. That makes golf impossible. Do you, after you've been speed training, do you get really wild misses both directions if you're trying to, crank it up and swing as hard as you can, or is it pretty standard one miss, like you block it right or something?
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. I think the one-way miss idea, maybe just talking about that quick, like we all have a two-way miss, right? Because we're aiming at one point and we're going to miss on either side of that, right?
Yep.
Regardless of the shot shape. So like there is a bit of we have a target and we're going to miss them on both sides of that target. So, I would say my dispersion, no, it hasn't like dramatically gotten crazy. Like when I'm absolutely like speed training, like, yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Like you have to get super uncomfortable if you're going to push your speeds up. So you're going to like top one, you're going to like hit it low on the face. It's going to snap hook and go 250 yards and 140 yards left. Like that's just part of the process to push your club speed up. And like, that's just what you're watching as you push up. Okay. But yeah.
Well, you've talked about your connections that you've got, and you use those connections and turn it into a book called The Scoring Edge, collaboration, a bunch of golf top coaches and things like that. Basically how you can hit it farther, score better, think smarter on the course. What was that process like? And then when you did it, you talk about how you like these projects and you like to, get excited about something. Did writing a book and putting it together kind of meet your expectations? Or was it easier than you thought, or is like, whoa, that was a more difficult challenge than I originally anticipated? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just out of need. It's because I've been so lucky to go learn from so many people, but like I'd go to practice or go do something or like trying to remember something, and I'd be like, I can't remember anything that they told me. Like, I have no idea what they told me. Like, I know they told me something, and then like, I'm not going to go watch that video again. Like that's, like I'm not going to go through it all again. And so it was this thing of just like, I just need to be able to reference the stuff that I learned. Like it's so simple. So like, that was literally the start of it is I need a place to write this all down. So that was it. And so I just went back through and watched all the videos really closely. And I was like, okay, like these are the things that I want to remember from this and that I need to make sure that I go, go reference. So, I mean, it's things like, we did this great wedge video with Mark Blackburn, and he like covered everything about like how to hit wedges, like distance wedges, and like the degrees of launch and how to set up and like all the things that he coaches his players with. And So okay, great. Let's make that so I can remember it. And like when I go to the range, I can use it. And so it's really fun. I loved watching the old videos again. I loved like getting everything put together. Like, okay, this is what I want to remember. And like, this is what, this is like, here's what people could fill in to like remember it better and kind of take their own notes on it. And so it was a great process, and all the coaches were super fun to work with on it. And yeah, it was super cool. And tons of people have been giving me some feedback on it, and it seems like folks like it. So it's been great. I'm pumped.
Is it good for a high school golfer, Mike? Maybe we got to order some.
Yeah.
I'll send some up. How about that? Yeah. I mean, yeah, for sure. It's like the idea is I'm kind of like trying to make a modern instruction magazine idea. So it's just like, yeah, it's like, hey, if you struggle with early extension, like here are some drills you can try. Like if you're hitting wedges, the wedge thing is awesome. That everybody needs to go read that about his ideas on that. Yeah, like Scott Fawcett's Tiger 5, like course management stuff. Green reading process with Ralph Bauer. It's super useful.
That could be a good one because some of my kids putting is it's brutal.
Well, I just think a lot of adults don't know how to read greens, don't read greens well, and really struggle. Yeah. Where can somebody buy that? Where is it for sale if they're looking?
Just on Amazon. That was the easiest way to get it out. So we just published it right through Amazon. So it's like anyone anywhere can just go grab it. Super easy.
We got a golf budget. We could support. Yeah, we could maybe buy a couple for the boys, and that's going to be their homework over the summer.
There you go.
Is to read that.
Yep, that would be good. I don't know. Now we have to get them to read. That's that in its own is a challenge today. But
do you have an audio book? I guess let's start that.
Do you have it in game format where they can play a game on their phone to do it?
There you go. Got it. Well, maybe, or maybe I just come up and speed. I don't know if I convince you guys the speed training stuff. I feel like I got some skeptics here. You'd invite me up to speed train with them.
We've got my team. We have the what's it called again? The yellow one. I got it. Yeah, the stack system, and I got some of my little guys working on that a little bit here and there. Yep.
No, I think it's clearly if you look around. Golf, the modern golfer right now looks different. I mean, than it did when I was a kid watching golf outside of Tiger and a couple other guys. Clearly there's something to it, right? The science has been proven. They've all talked about the farther you hit it, the better chance you have of getting on the green and getting it closer to the hole. We had Scott Fawcett on the podcast as well. And we had some good talks about all that kind of stuff. It's just, now that I'm 44, and it's like sometimes I just feel like I just want to be able to play the hole. Sometimes like I don't mind coming in from 160 yards out as long as I get to hit a shot. It's exciting to hit a golf shot instead of punching out, especially when you get to some of these tighter courses. On the open ones, you bomb away unless they really, unless the rough is super penalizing and thick. That makes 100% sense. My golf team is out at Albion Ridges, which is wide open, and we don't work so much on accuracy. It's just bomb it out there, and it's more of a short game emphasis, because that's kind of the protection of the green. So to me, it's just like knowing my own self and my own game. I think that's part of it, is just knowing who you are as a golfer, knowing what you do well in areas. Like I do need to improve some swing speed because I feel like. I want to be able to still attack some par fives at times. I want to be able to, because it's fun to make birdies, right? Like it's not fun to only make pars at times. Like birdies are fun. That makes golf more fun. And so I can resonate with it. It's just in my own game, I have a harder time, feeling comfortable swinging fast. I don't feel comfortable. So I think I'd have to spend a lot of time. Mike knows I have a lab in my basement. Problem is I can swing like the ripsticks and stuff. I can't fit a driver. So that'd be my only issue.
That's tough. Yeah.
I think the biggest maybe detriment or struggle people will have with speed training, like you've said, you've been doing it for a couple of years now, is you really got to put a lot of time into it if you're going to really make it work. And I think some people, I think like anything, people give it a little bit of time, then they kind of quit on it, and then it's just not going to work that way.
Yeah.
if you're not dedicated to it.
Okay, I got a question for you guys. What of like your high school teams? What is the difference between the golf, like the kids on the team that are like, oh, they get it, like they're good, and the kids that like, I wish they just like they have this potential, but they just like never seem to like catch up to that and still have the high scores. What do you guys think is the differentiator?
I have a few.
Okay.
Are we talking mentality or just on course skills or anything?
I mean, any like what do you think would separate them?
Well, a few. You have a lot of kids who just like to go play. They just want to go play golf. They don't want to practice that much, and they seem like they never get that much better. I think the biggest differentiator is the kids that like practicing. They want to practice.
Okay.
And the other thing is, and it's hard sometimes, is getting them to play in tournaments in the summer to become more comfortable being uncomfortable in tournament. They want to stay comfortable and go play with their buddies and pick up 5-footers and all that stuff, but getting them to play in more tournaments, especially the younger kids. Once you get older kids that have played a bunch of high school ones, then it's not so bad. But some of them, they'll tell you they shoot all these scores, then you get them out there and it's like, whoa, this is different than what you've been telling me here. So I think those are a couple of things.
For me, it's 120 and in.
Yeah.
The ability to play your golf ball from 120 yards and in is to me the separator. I mean, a lot of guys can look decent off the tee, but like at the end of the day, when you're done with the hole and you walk away with a bogey from 120 yards and in, or a double because you screwed around the green a little bit, or short-sided yourself, or 3-putted, it's a score separator.
Yeah, and putting and chipping is just for some of these kids. We've talked about this a bunch in my varsity, and you get some kids that are good ball strikers with a full swing, and then little chipping is a struggle, or anything touchy, little partial wedge is a struggle. But like we talk so much about, if you can get up and down once in a while, that you could stop the bleeding sometimes when you're not playing very well. But some of these kids just can't. They just can't do it. They just struggle so bad. Just simple stuff. That's a really big one. But again, it goes back to to practice putting and chipping. It can be boring. You got to really want to get better at that to practice that a lot, because a lot of these kids just don't want to do it.
Yep. That's how I'm starting my season with that. As folks probably wouldn't know unless they're in Minnesota, we are just getting started golfing.
Yeah.
It's miraculous. And so I've just been starting. I learned this from Coach Will. This is kind of how he approaches things as well. But 4-foot circle with putting, how many out of 10 can you get? And then lag putting 30 to 50 feet. How many can you get into that 4-foot circle? And then I've been doing chipping, how many basic stock chips can you get into that 4-foot circle as well? And just kind of try every time I go, I try to do those and then write it down and then see what I do the next time and the next time. And it's trying to, little ways to how can I gamify this or give myself a score to try to go beat next time and make it kind of interesting and go do. Cause it can be, if you don't have a good game or a good way to go about it. Yeah. It's boring.
But you're doing it right, because realistically putting, all you really need to practice is leg putting and short putts, because you see so many players that go out there and they'll putt all these 15 footers over and over again. It's the best players in the world don't make that putt that often, but what they don't do is 3-putt from 30 feet and they make all the short ones, so why there's no point really practicing that 15 footer, because it's not you should 2-putt that obviously, but you're not going to make that many. So it's work on the things that really help you.
Yeah. I wish if I could choose a skill, I wish I was an elite level leg putter. That would be that would be my skill. That would be one of the ones. Yeah, drive it really well and leg putt it. Those would be my favorite two skills if I could choose.
So you were talking about, is that your next project? Is that your next video? What do we got going on as your next kind of thing that you're trying to tackle? You said short game stuff? Is
that's not the next series. I'm sticking. I got more long drive stuff. We're gonna go do a couple trips to go train with more long drive people, just because I have a blast with it. The other one, I'm just chasing we're going down interesting stories here. I have a new goal. So the speed thing has been fun. It's been 2 years of chasing that. I'm going to keep going. I want to get to 200 eventually. So I've got to keep going.
Yeah.
I have work to do. And I think I can do it because I don't have a good, like my like body is not strong. So if I can get strong, I feel like I have a chance. That's the only reason we're chasing this. But I've kind of like, what's the next level? So the next thing I'm embarking on is a series called Chasing Opens. So I want to try to go win a national open. I don't know where yet. So probably not going to win the US Open. So it's going to have to be one that not as many people playing. But because of that, I'm going to go play in the US Speed Golf Open.
Are you going to run? You're going to run?
Run. I'm going to run and play golf. We're going to go give our first national open a chance. It's a little bit outside the box on this one. But yeah, that's the end of July. We're going to go do that.
Have you tried that before? Have you tried that kind of golf?
No.
Okay, because I'm like, I've seen it, speed golf thing. Like, do they even carry 14 clubs?
No. We carry like 4.
5? 4?
Yeah,
okay.
4 or 5.
I saw a guy won the international one where he shot like 1 under in like less than an hour.
Dude, so the guy that won last year in the world record is a 64 in 43 minutes.
That's just insane.
That is unbelievable.
It's not. I don't think he brought a putter either.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's all like, I don't know if it was wedge or hybrid, but just like putting with those. So yeah, that's kind of like, one of the series that I'm going to go chase down. So over the next couple months, I'm going to be running and golfing.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Mike, you got anything else?
I do. I have a question. What do you think now, once you're done with long drive and speed golf, like, what do you think what's missing? Like, what are people not talking about and all the stuff that you've seen? Is there something that's kind of under the radar in terms of training or lessons or anything?
As far as like getting involved with, I think long drive is freaking awesome. Like if you've ever been to an event or like been around a long drive like thing, it's great. It's so cool. So I'm really bummed out that hasn't like taken off or like more people aren't into that. So I'm trying to do my best to like kind of share stories and like show stuff in that arena. Cause I think it's really cool. That is something I think not enough people are talking about, which is one of my takes about things that I think should be more popular than they are.
One thing I haven't heard you talk, I haven't heard you talk much about either is the golf psychology aspect. I haven't heard you say much about that. Is that something you've ever dove into? Thinking part of golf? Does that fascinate you? Does that interest you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That back in Golf Science Lab days, we did whole like things on this, kind of diving into it. Dr. Debbie Cruz, she is awesome, measuring brain waves and like what's the brain state before hitting a golf ball. Bunch of stuff like Dr. Brett McCabe, Greg Carton. There's some great guys out there to learn from. So yeah, I've chased. I love all these different little avenues, and so yeah, that's a great point. We haven't done anything on that route recently. Maybe it's a good idea. We'll explore that.
All right.
I always thought the one thing that people don't talk about enough is, I mean, their high level players do it, is like being able to control trajectory with your wedges a little bit. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to do it into the wind, but maybe Mark Blackburn, you talk about him, maybe, but like downwind, it matters too. You don't want to hit it too high downwind because then the wind gets it and takes off. Like I think not a lot of people talk about like trajectory of wedges.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just it's harder to do. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you try hitting that controlled low tour wedge. It's not super easy to do that every time,
No, it's not.
But then you watch those guys do it, and it's just like perfect. That perfect launch angle, like 30 degrees or whatever they're trying to get it at, and it's just like.
And I think it's even tough for younger like tour players, because if you watch a tour event, the younger, the rookies, first, second year guys have real problems even with back pins still, because they want, they always want to hit it high and spin everything. Where the veteran guys are good at hitting that low checker in there and just kind of running it into that back pin. You see that a lot with young players struggle with it on tour.
Yeah, I mean that can be a speed thing too, right? Like a lot of speed training, a lot of speed, then taking
a lot of spin
off. Yeah, is like that's hard. Like hitting some of those half shots can get more difficult. If you're used to just like ripping it every time, for sure.
Yeah, one of the first guys we had on the podcast was Brent Schneider. Good. I don't know if you know him at all, but he was always saying, good players hit their wedges low and their high or long irons high. They kind of flip-flop for what the actual, beginning golfer thinks. The best players do the opposite.
Right.
The control of each, because you're coming in with a long iron, softer landing into par fives maybe, or just long par threes, that kind of stuff. So I've always kept that in the back of my head. Pretty good point he makes.
Well, I think he's right, because in the history of golf, most of the greatest players are also the best long iron players, hitting it high. Tiger, Rory, Jack Nicklaus, they all hit really high long irons that they could control and stop. That separates them all the time, it seems like, in majors and events where it really matters to be able to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, my favorite thing about these wedges that Mark said, like one of my favorite quotes was like, your wedge shots should be like an underhand toss, meaning just like the intent and the thought behind it, where a lot of us kind of like are, my 60, I think it goes 90, the pin's 95. So I'm going to get after this one, like it's the opposite of what most of us do. And so like, I think that's a really good visual. And like, that is also going to help you not hit this thing as high. So you have to control the spin and control the launch. Like those are the two things. And like you said, like most of us are not good at that. Like that is one of the things that I personally like suck at and try to train and get better at. But that's hard for me to get that launch down. Not easy.
All right, Mike, anything else?
No, I think we'll let him get back to his lab. He's probably got work to do. Well, what's the book called again on Amazon for listeners?
Yeah, Scoring Edge.
Scoring Edge.
A cool copy that's not for resale, crossed out. But yeah, Scoring Edge. You search my name, Cordie. It's a weird name, Cordie. You can find it somewhere.
Yeah, and you got all the social medias and YouTube. You're all over the place.
Yeah, YouTube's the fun spot. That's where we put all of our work into trying to make the best like long form coaching and instruction content that we can. And yeah, that's where I'd follow along.
Well, good luck on all your quests. You've got the beach thing. You're going to win an open. Hey, we'll come celebrate with you if you pull off an open. We love to travel the world as well in quest to find good golf courses in our case. But yeah, best of luck and everything. Great hearing from you. Maybe someday we'll run into each other and chat more golf.
Play some golf in Minnesota.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for being on.